you're completely overthinking this.
As usual.
Completely overthinking.
Okay.
It. First of all, let's look at the history here. I can't speak for the timeline since the last tour and what they're doing now, but the history of this band is they've always been taken out of context. The journalists and the press have, and I'll say this, lied about this band before. So whatever I really see that's written, be it interview or whatever, unless I'm hearing it with my ears like a live interview, I always have second guesses, you know what I mean? I just, it could be just rewording of a couple of sentences, or realigning of a couple of sentences. I don't know. But at this point, Slash has no axe to grind with anybody, and he's doing quite well, and he's quite happy, actually. But I don't think that they would, anybody, including Axl, I don't think they would ever mess with the fans. They wouldn't. That's not their nature. That's not what this band's all about. They might be poking fun at the journalist. Who knows, you know, playing a couple of games. Stones were experts at doing that. But just because he says that he hasn't been with Axl, maybe he hasn't been with him during this last COVID lockdown since the cancellation of the last tour. You know, they're back together now. They're seeing each other every day now. They're playing. Who knows? Maybe they're going to put it together and get back in and burn out an album in 3 weeks. In early 2022, you will have a fresh Guns N' Roses record sitting in your hands, or it's streamed to your computer.
Your lips knocking on heaven's door. You know, knocking on heaven's door.
That's been my history with this band. Anything's possible.
Yeah.
Expect the unexpected, but never say never and never say die. That's really the creed right there. And you know, when it comes, it comes.
That I agree.
I never put a timeline on that band, but just when you thought power was going to get turned off, it lights up like the 4th of July, you know? So I'm happy with everything that they're doing, and I'm just, you know, I would love to hear a new Guns N' Roses record, and I know the fans are salivating for it. And I think they have something up their sleeve. I mean, I think there was a time when Slash told Eddie Trunk that there was not going to be a reunion, and like 3 weeks later it was announced that they're getting back together. Right,
correct.
Yeah, so there you go.
That's what a lot of people brought up, and I thank you to everybody who did. You know, kind of talk me off the, you know, I'm using some hyperbole, but, you know, talk me off the ledge, so to speak. I'm like, I'm not going to go full heel yet. I'm not going to go, I'm not going to turn heel. Let me take a breath, because it's like they haven't been in a room. Are they even friends? Do they even like each other? I'm like, why they do that? What the file? I know. I'm overreacting. I'm medicated. It's okay. I'm okay right now, but I appreciate talking.
I mean, I haven't seen Slash for about 2 years now. And I reached out for him, though, recently when he had his birthday.
Okay.
But what I'm concerned about, and what I, you know, like I'm like a father figure, you know, I just want him to be healthy, and I want him to be safe. That's what I care about. You know what I mean? I love these boys like my children, and I just don't want to see anything bad happen to them. So, you know, we're all getting up on there in age, and these guys have led a hard life, and that touring schedule, not easy. So I'm just praying that they have good medical available, and they're all healthy, and, you know, I'm just doing the right thing so to keep this machine going. You know, that's my main concern with them right now, before any record or anything else. Is you guys cool? You're happy? You're out there doing it? I'm proud of them too. You know, against all odds, they've done a lot of work in the past 5 years that a lot of people basically said they could never do. So.
I agree with all of that. Absolutely. Yeah. That's kind of the main thing. I'm like, as somebody who's the opposite of you, where you were there in 1987, and I'm sorry, Peter, I was 4. I found them later in life.
Does it make you a bad person?
No, it does not. It does not make me a bad person. I'm still aware of dinosaurs and the Civil War and all things that happened before my time. But I feel the same way as somebody who never got to see Axl and Slash on stage together. My first time seeing Axl was in 2002 when he's, you know, in his long braids. I mean, that was not the Axl I thought, you know, growing watching on TV and everything. I loved it. That's again a whole other podcast.
3 shows I would have loved for you to have seen. So maybe if you can find a time machine, it would be any one of the Cat House shows. Most definitely the Rich show in New York, which you can see actually on video. And probably the third one would be, that's a hard call between either the country club show or when they opened for the Stones and Axl quit on stage.
Oh man, see that's something else. Exactly, where as I joke, and this is something else that's a theme of this podcast, where I never got to experience the dangerous Guns N' Roses, and you could say that now, I guess. At the time, I'm sure it wasn't cool.
I got to tell you this: none of that was premeditated. None of that was planned. That was all from the hip. That was right. Circumstance,
which doesn't exist at all anymore.
You can't write that stuff. I don't care how creative you are.
Exactly. So at all. I mean, there are people who try to write it, and you can't make it up. But I am appreciative that they are all still alive. Steven Adler included. I mean, especially that everyone's still around. That it does warm my heart, and to see Axl Rose on stage smiling is one of the reasons why I love this band and I identified, with him. And just going back to me as a kid, was the anger issues, was the depression. I'm like, that's like me. It's just all the reasons why as a kid you like who you like, and as you get older, you kind of,
Let me put this out.
Go ahead, bud.
I have felt Axl's wrath, but I never felt that it was personal. I felt that he was like yelling with me, not yelling at me. And it wasn't yelling, don't get me wrong. But what I'm trying to say is I have felt his wrath, and I've seen him happy. And I got to tell you honestly, he's a great guy. He's really a great guy. He's a very loyal friend. If you're a good friend of his, he keeps his friends very close to him. He's very, very generous. He looks after people. It's like anything else. There's a lot of bullshit out there and a lot of people that went after him on that success ride. And, some people burned him and some people didn't. And shit happens. But overall, being objective and looking at this thing as it is, Axl's a good guy. There's nothing obscure, abnormal about him. He's got a temper. Who doesn't?
Right.
Flies off the handle. Who doesn't?
Right.
But, it is what it is. I always said this. I got nothing bad to say about these guys. When you have success, your life morphs and your life changes. If this band was broke and on the streets and totally disheveled and fucked up on drugs and just like hanging around dirty, seedy apartments and nasty, dark barroom clubs, they would make a fucking record that would knock everybody's dick in the dirt. You know what I mean? They're successful. They're comfortable. They're cushy. What's the inspiration? It's hard to get in there and write a song. When was the last time the Stones wrote a good song? I gave up on them after Exile on Main Street. So, it's... you become something of I don't know. It's hard to put into words, but I can say this, that I don't think Guns N' Roses is about a money grab. I don't think it is. I think they need to be inspired. I think they need to be kicked in the face, and all of a sudden they're going to find a reason to write a song.
Okay.
Listen to Axl's lyrics. Listen to Appetite for Destruction. That's all based and predicated on experience, how he sees the world. How he sees the world right now is anybody's guess. If he sees it at all, he's so isolated. Slash, and outside of COVID, Slash is housebound, and Duff is got the wife and the kids, and he's doing his thing. But I am not anticipating or expecting another Appetite for Destruction. I'm interested of what they're gonna launch, what they're going to deliver us, but it's certainly not going to be Appetite for Destruction. I'd like to see the mature Guns N' Roses. Put it this way, Slash's playing is so incredible. And I know there might be people that sometimes roll their eyes. Nobody sounds like him. I don't care. You hear Slash's playing, it's him. And that's unique. You hear Jimmy Page, it's him. You hear Jimi Hendrix, it's him. Certain guys have that signature sound, and Slash has a signature sound. So anything that he lays down is going to be just great.